Well. You're listening to Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright then, I may say words on point, straightforward. No jibber jabber, everybody forward. Issues, facts and solution. Get it at Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright, one other thing is a revolution. Get it on point with Professor Buitrón. Gloves Off, no nonsense issues, politics, community. A better men follow reader. Gloves Off, a revolutionary show with everything that you need to know. With Professor Buitrón. Watch ya!
Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.
For 30 years, Buitron Academy has produced great fighters, peace officers, firemen, and many great citizens of Laredo. We teach various martial arts, savate, kempo, capoeira, each in their own traditions, trajectory, history, and pedagogy. Buitron Academy is the first school of savate in the United States, the first capoeira movement in Texas, the first Kempo school in Laredo. What will one expect to see at Buitron Academy? Respect, fellowship, coordination, skill, and self-defense. Buitron Academy is located at 220 West Hillside Road.
The following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off.
4, 3. We're back at you in Gloves Off. I'm Professor Buitrón, and today we have Ms. Patricia Barrera, and we're going to be touching base on her campaign and her going back into Webb County tax assessor. How's her?
Doing good. Thank you for your invitation.
No, thank you for being here. Number one, thank you for standing up.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
that is a must.
Yes, sir.
That is a
Well-
must. Well, tell me, how's your campaign going?
It's going really good, very positive. Yesterday, I was at the doctor's office, and when they called me in, I was walking across the waiting room, and this lady just leaned over and said, "I'm with you. You have our vote." You know, so, and the other night, I was interviewed in a radio station, and we went to go eat dinner, and it was in the evening, and we sat down, and this gentleman stands up from another table and just comes up to me, extends his hand, I shake his hand, and he says, "I expect you to be there when I go renew my tags next year." So it's really very positive. People that I don't even know, you know, just coming up to me. They either hear my name, hear my voice, recognize it, and it is just so very positive. And well, that's why I'm running, because the people were asking for me to run, to go back and bring back the service that they were used to. So that's why I'm in this race, and I'm believing that the taxpayers want to be served like a king or a queen, that they are. The taxpayer is our boss, and they want that treatment once again. So that's why we're running, and we're believing that the voters of Webb County are going to come out, and they're going to give us the A-OK. They're going to give us their vote.
You know, and I've heard a lot as well. I've heard a lot of things of bringing back Ms. Barrera, and I've talked to several people of why, and people keep to bringing back the service. You know, I remember the service you gave, and I've seen a lot of people talk that way.
Yeah.
I have not been there, so I cannot say anything about my experience. But people say, "Oh, there's long lines, and there's issues, and so on and so forth."
Yeah.
When we turn it around, let's say God puts his hand forward and says, "You know what? Gives you the blessing that you're going to be with us."
Mhm.
And next January, you step in, you take office,
Yes.
and you say, "What will be the first things that you're going to try to change?" Because, let me put it this way: there's a lot of technology that's come of age since you were there to now.
Sure, sure.
What would you change?
Well, to begin with, first I need to bring back certain things. We need to return to somebody answering the phone when the phone rings. So we'll go back to a telephone operator who will answer the phone, transfer your question, your call to the appropriate person who can answer your question, give you the information that you need. Right now, unfortunately, it just goes from one line to another line, and then finally it ends up at the appraisal district after 10 minutes. It's so we always put an emphasis on the telephone. So we're gonna fix that part. The other thing we want to do is we want to open up again the information window. They closed it down. We need to bring it back, because when somebody buys a car, and that information window is mainly for the motor vehicle department, but that's where they get the forms that they need. And if they have questions, they don't know what to do, they'll show the title, and if there's issue, that's where we would tell the taxpayer, this is what you need, okay? And then they'd come back, go back to the information window, so we could make sure that everything was in order, and then move on to getting the item taken care of. Now, a lot of people would sit down, we had clipboards, and they would sit down and start filling up, and they'd come up, is this correct? And we check it, and yes, or you're missing this, and they go back until they got it done. That is gone. So we definitely need to bring that back. Again, the taxpayer, the customer at the tax office is the boss. They're the ones who pay. That's why they're called taxpayers. So they're the boss. So we need to take care of their needs and as promptly as we can, because they have lives. A lot of them take time off from their jobs to be able to come to the tax office. to begin with, it's an issue on parking, and then to stand in long lines and then not be told what they need, not get the information. We want to bring back what we had. So that's why I'm running. And technology, one of the things is we need to cross-train our staff. Right now, that's what I did, and that's one of the reasons why, yes, we had long lines at the end of the month. I mean, we did, but we processed them faster because we had 17 stations. All 17 stations could take care of renewals because that's really the long line. But then all 17 stations could also do property taxes. They've gone back to when I first got elected, where everybody just had one job, and that's all they did. No, I don't do that. Well, we're Webb County is growing and has grown. It like tripled in some areas. It quadrupled from when I came in 1993 to when I left. But yet we only grew like 33% in staff. But we opened up the passport department. We opened up the investigation department, helping people that became victims and buying a car off the streets or on the internet and not having a title. We helped those people. Just on the investigation department, we had anywhere from 3,500 to 5,000 applicants coming in, putting in an application for a title hearing. Of those, we processed about 4,000, where they took it all the way to where they got their vehicle titled. So there's a great need. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who can't go to a used car lot and buy a car on credit, much less a brand new car, because they don't have that. So they resort to the best way they can upgrade their old car, and that's buying it on the internet or off the street. And unfortunately, that's where they become victims. So we've helped them. That department was also canceled. So we're gonna bring that back. And the technology will only help us to be able to process everything faster for them. And really, that's what it's all about. And that's what people remember of my 25 years. That you walked in, you were greeted by the deputy collector, or greeted on the hallway and directed to where you needed to go, and then your issue was resolved, or the renewal was done, the property tax. We don't want to go back where you stand in two lines, like during the tax season, where you go renew your tags and want to pay the taxes. That one teller should be able to do both things.
Exactly. I think the key word here is being processed correctly.
Yes.
And I think that's what, I'm being more informed that this administration is not doing.
Right.
Not being processed
Unfortunate.
correctly. So I think by doing that, that brings your customer service, because everybody that I've talked to, everybody that always says it was much better that you were treated better, you were processed better.
Yes.
Okay, and I think that's what people want, the easier thing, and I think you're on the right track, because if we can bring that back in there, I think you're gonna have a lot smoother office coming in.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That's a given. And a lot of the issues are because of management, either management taking the wrong turn or doing it in the right way. Always thinking, whatever I did, I always did it with a taxpayer, the boss, in mind. How would he or she like to be treated? Okay? And what is more important to them, standing and waiting at the tax office, or getting in, getting out, and going back to their life? Their life should not be at the tax office waiting to be taken care of. Their life should be either taking care of their children, going back home, and picking up the kids at school, or returning to work, and maybe losing an hour because of the going and coming, and then the time at the office, but not lose 4, 6, 8 hours of work.
Absolutely. With that being said, there's a lot of people that do not have the time frame.
Yeah.
Would you bring in more web internet services or web friendlier forms to be done? Is there a way that can happen?
Well, yes, especially in property taxes, we have a lot of control of that, and informing the people how they can go and get the information that they need. And also instructing them how they need to take care of things before tax season. See, a lot of people don't, by the time they get the tax bill, the appraisal district already set the value, okay? They need to be informed. You need to, when that letter comes in May, telling you about your valuation, you need to look at it, open it and look at it. And if it went up, and I think maybe 99 out of 100, they go up, maybe one will go down, okay? And maybe not even that one, okay? So people get sticker shock when they get the tax statements from the school, the city, or the county, and they don't understand, why am I paying more? Well, because your value went up. And you know, one of the things that we need to tell taxpayers, how do you protest? What is the process? Because bottom line, it's either you paying more money or keeping your money for your family. And that's something we need to do with property taxes. And that's one way, the technology, the internet, we can provide information. Or even samples of, you know, like a little skid, you know, putting that out as to what the process should be like. You know, the negative and then the positive. Which one do you want to be when October comes? You want to take care of business by June so that you are not sticker shocked in October. So,
Absolutely, because you know we need to do that. We need to start informing people. A lot of people do not know that, and I think those are great ideas.
well, it's like income tax. I used to do income tax before I became tax assessor-collector. That was part of what I did. And most people didn't even want to do it at that time. The 1040 easy. It was so easy. You just put what you earn, how many dependents, and you know, and everything was there. And yet they would come to me to do it, and I'd have to charge them for it, you know? And that's the way it is with property taxes. People don't want to see it. You know, it's like, no, if I don't see it, it won't hurt me. No, you gotta see it. Because if you don't, it will hurt you and your family with your income, you know, so.
And you know, that's absolutely. Would you have, on that route, maybe we can take this in a different format. Would you have maybe like workshops and stuff like that for
That
inform
could
people?
happen, yes. With the,
That's something you can contemplate?
with the help of the appraisal district, so that they, see, a lot of people fear going, you know? And maybe if they start seeing also the other side, the appraisal district, and they see that they can also help you. They're not there to hit you. They're just doing their job because that's what the state. You have to remember that the appraisal district was created back in, I think it was 1979, 1980, was because of the school issues. The state was told they had to provide monies to the lower income districts to put them up to par with the richer districts. So the appraisal district then became the tool where they were telling the localities, hey, you need to raise your values. You're not taxing them properly. That way, it was less of a burden for the state, and the burden was local. So that's why the appraisal district exists. It exists because of the schools.
Yeah, sure. And that's something that people need to understand.
Yeah. So that's one of the things we can do. And on motor vehicle, we're always there. When I was there, helping the people to
Correct.
get that. You know, nobody goes and buys a car just to have it parked in the parking area. They buy it because they need it. And a lot of people would buy a newer car and give the second car, the older one, to the wife. And the one the wife had, you sell that one. And that's how a lot of people in Webb County exist. You know, they can't afford not even a 5-year-old car. They're buying a 10, 15-year-old car because that's all they can afford. I see it in my job that I do right now, you know, and it's very sad. But what we need to do is, if they become a victim, help them, okay? Help them register that vehicle. with, and the beautiful thing about, right now, people have to get bonds. They have to pay for that and pay for the service. When we had the investigation department, we didn't charge anything, but we had to send letters to the last registered owner.
Correct.
And basically, it was the return mail, certified return mail, the fee, but for the office, we didn't make a penny, okay? And you didn't have to buy a bond. So there's a lot of
differences
people,
now?
big difference, okay? So, I mean, it's in the hundreds of dollars difference, you know, and that's just for a 15, 18-year-old car, you know? Now, if it's a newer car, 5 or 7 years old, the cost for that bond increases, okay? And we didn't have to do a bond. I signed the bond. I was the one who was having the title hearing. So it's either a tax collector's hearing, title hearing, or it's a bond title. And the bond title is very expensive. So, Paul, and to the viewers, you vote me in, I will return it that first week. We will start with tax collector title hearings to help the unfortunate, and that's right. We're helping them get up and be able to take care of their families, you know.
Well, you've got a couple of weeks, right, before early voting?
Early voting starts on February the 18th, and it goes for 2 weeks. Then on March the 3rd, Tuesday, is the election day. So we need people to go out. I mean, the response is very positive. We're putting up a sign, and somebody will come and say, hey, I want to sign in my house. You know, we're down to the last few signs. And I'd like to take this opportunity, if you allow me, to thank all those families, all those people that have asked for a sign, and we put them up, and we're just very grateful to all the people.
And I've seen you putting up signs.
Yeah.
That's you know,
Yeah.
that's something that's nice, you know, because
Yeah.
the candidate himself's going out to the house and putting the sign.
Yes.
It's rarely seen. Usually you see people helpers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But you know, we need all kinds. But
Well, it's like my dad told me when we had the stores and I was a little kid. And he said, if you set the example, if you are working, putting sodas in the ice machine, putting bread, pushing the groceries up front, cleaning the shelves and all that, then the employees have to work also, because they're seeing their boss working. And that's the example I do that I did for 25 years at the tax office. I was there.
sure.
You know, I didn't sit down and do a transaction, because I realized I was more valuable. I did it. I learned how at the beginning of my first year. And then I saw the long line. I said, I'm more valuable outside as traffic control, you know, than inside doing processing one, when I can help process more by just telling them who's available and who's not, you know. So that was something I learned from my dad and from my mom. I had to set the example for work. And that's what I will do. You will see me. I will be at the tax office. You'll see me in the lobby, or you'll see me inside, but I will be checking and making sure you, the boss, is being taken care of.
You know, that's what you need. You need people to come out there, you know. Somewhere along the line, what I've seen with public officials, they get elected, they forget all about who elected them.
Right.
And 4 years down the road, they come out there and you remember me? You remember? You know, you're like, you understand this. Some people call them the 4-year leap friends, you know. Leap year
Every
friends.
4 years, they remember you.
They remember you, you know, so, and it's leap year again, you know, here, but it's, there are certain people that go up there and they want to lead, they want to help out, and you've been one, and you want to do that again, and that's
Well,
nice.
I saw and I see the tax office as a service. We're there
Absolutely.
to provide a service. You know,
Absolutely.
and it's all about the service, you know, and the no waiting in long lines, that's part of the service. Now that you'll have at the end of the month, of every month, you're gonna have lines, but it doesn't mean it takes an hour, 2 hours to get to the front of the line. That's the difference. And that has to do with management and how management takes care of how to process faster and more efficiently. And a lot of times it's not speed, it's efficiency. Now, I had some employees that were slower, but they didn't make mistakes. And I had some that the taxpayer didn't have to come back and undo their mistake. And then I had some that were super fast and their fingers went every which way and they misspelled the last name or the first name. And they'd get their title and they'd come back, this is not my name, you know? And so a lot of times it's, hey, take it easy and check so that the taxpayer doesn't have to come back.
Absolutely.
And undo what you did wrong.
Exactly. You know, you have to calm down. You have to be effective, efficient, but in a smart pace.
Right. And the other thing that management has to do is you gotta find each person's strength and realize what their weakness is and then put them where they're strong so they can excel and they feel good about their job and they will even look forward to coming to work because they are placed in a position where they're going to excel. And that's what coaches do with their players. They find their strength, you know. If your strength is rebounding, then you strengthen them there. If your strength is shooting a three-pointer, well, that's what you do. You know, you help them get even better. But that's part of management. And I think for 25 years, we managed that office very well. And the taxpayers want me back. So now we just need the voters to respond.
Well, you know, we'll see it in 2 weeks. And
We'll
actually,
start.
in 2 weeks, it
Yeah.
starts. It
Yeah.
starts actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks we'll start.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's right here.
Yes, sir.
What new things would you go out there and do right now?
Well, right now, it's just getting that office back to functioning where it was before, up to par. That's the most important thing. So that the taxpayer, you know what's happening? Because there was nobody telling them the information, how to take care of a title, or they couldn't get it done because of some kind of stumbling block. Yet they were going to San Antonio, they were going to Florida, they were going to acá in LaSalle County, Cotula, and getting it done without an issue, without a problem. That's wrong.
You see that?
Because Webb County lost those revenues. Those revenues belonged here.
You see,
And
that's somewhere that we need to look for.
Yeah.
Because we're losing money here. We can't be
Yes.
losing money. over
Exactly, exactly. And that's what I want to do. And we had one of the highest collection rates during my 25 years, you know, in property taxes. If you get 97, you're doing great because you always have those delinquencies,
Sure.
okay? And there's some that, because of their age, they're over 65, you can't force to collect. You have to wait, okay? So you always carry a percentage. But we got one time close to 99%, which is unheard of. It's, you know.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we did very well. And actually the tax office is self-sustaining just with the revenue it gets from motor vehicle, the commission that the state pays the tax office. That's enough to pay everybody's salary and money left over. So it's, you know, we're a self-sufficient office if we do it right.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want to do. We want to come back, you know, let's win it back, and let's bring back true customer service.
Oh, Ms. Barrera, you want to say anything else to your constituents out there, people out there wishing to vote?
Well, I need for you to go out to vote, because sounding great and people giving me the high five or the thumbs up is not enough. We need to go to the voting area, the precinct, or the early voting, wherever the different stations are. We need for you to cast that vote. It's very important, because without the votes, you can't have me back. And we want to go back. We want to treat you the way you should be treated, like a king or a queen. And you should be able to do your transactions without any hitches whatsoever. So please, I beg of you, please go to vote. Take your family. Make sure your friends are also going to vote, because we need to win, and we need to win it big so we can make a statement. Thank you.
Well, folks, you've heard Ms. Barrera. Early vote starts on February 18th,
February 18th.
and it goes for 2 weeks in March.
The 3rd on Tuesday, the
Tuesday
first Tuesday in March,
Is the election.
election day.
So we're not that far off yet, and I think this week was the last week you can register to vote.
I believe so, yes.
So, folks, exercise your right to vote. Go out there and vote.
Yes.
All right?
Let's win it back, Webb County.
Till
Let's
next
go.
time. Peace. Thank you.
The following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off. Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.